Alright, hey everyone. It's been a busy couple of days. Seen a bunch of holy sites all over the area in Palestine and Israel. Some we've definitely appreciated more than others, I think. The group has generally felt that the higher the commercialization level of the site, the less we've enjoyed it. And the more commercialization, I guess, like I said, in the site, it's just been difficult to really see the truth in it versus some of the sites that are more remote and just have a couple of simple signs. It's easier for us to appreciate them, I think. We've also met with a lot of folks that are deeply involved and deeply affected by the conflict. We've heard so many stories that I'm trying to get time to be able to share with you, but the trip's been so packed. I've had almost no time to be able to sit down and write out my thoughts coherently. So hopefully when we get to the Tent of Nations this evening, I'll have time for that. Yeah, so it's just been honestly unbelievably packed and busy, but just know that we're all being deeply affected by this, and we can't wait to share with you what we found here in the Holy Land. Alright, so we got to the Tent of Nations last night. It was getting dark, and when we got here we found out there was no Wi-Fi, so I was not able to upload anything. I figured I would wait till the morning to keep recording. So we had to suss out a international data plan, which we did. So I'm hopeful I'll be able to upload later tonight, which I guess you'll either find out or you won't. So I don't know why I'm talking about it. But anyways, we're here at Tent of Nations. We've been doing a lot of work here to help out on the farm. This is an olive farm, by the way, owned by Palestinian Christians. It's in the middle of a bunch of Israeli a bunch of Israeli settlements. They basically encircle the hilltop that this farm is on. And one of the things we learned from the many people that we visited with is that one of the reasons that land can easily be taken from Palestinians is that a lot of the land deals were done. Try to get out of the wind here. A lot of the land deals were done with handshakes, agreements. Just you might call them gentlemen's agreements, so to speak. I know that's a little patriarchal, but I don't have a better word for it right now. I'm a little tired. But that's how a lot of the land agreements were done. But the family that owns this property, they have actual documentation of their ownership dating back all the way to the Ottoman Empire. So it's been very difficult for the government to take this land, even though they desperately want it. The farm's on a hilltop, there's settlements all around. They want to expand onto this land. It's very desirable land. But there's been a lot of action over the past few years. Israeli trying to come in and take the land from them. They've actually put up a roadblock, destroyed part of the road up here to prevent people from coming to the farm and to prevent people from the farm from easily taking their exported olives and olive oil off of the farm. So we're just here to basically lend our bodily strength to the farm. Today we've been really clearing rocks out of the area where he wants to plant more olive trees. It's incredibly rocky terrain here if you've never been. It kind of shocked me at first how rocky the terrain is. So there's plenty of rocks to move. And what they're doing with the rocks is beautiful. They're actually building a giant rock garden. I'm not able to take any video of it because you can't get the perspective from where we're at. But from the sky, you'll see the three holy symbols of the main religions around here. the cross for Christianity, the moon of Islam, and the star of Judaism all together in one massive rock garden that'll be visible from the Israeli surveillance planes and drones. So I think it's a beautiful thing they're doing with the stones they're removing from the garden. So that's what we've been doing today here at the 10th of Nations. Also, look at this great pupper. Hey, pupper. How are you?
Yes, and it's good.
It's later on in the evening here on our first day at 10 of Nations. We switched up the projects we were working on to some more construction-related projects around the farm, helping to demolish some older structures and to repair some structures that needed fixing, as well as I know some other folks were working on cleaning solar panels, which was pretty crazy. We came back from lunch and we saw two of the ladies up on a roof with the gusty wind just scrubbing down some solar panels with squeegees. It was pretty crazy to see. But it's been an interesting day. I know most of us weren't really prepared for it, but now that we're here and kind of settled in, we're glad to be here. I think all of us. It's already been a formative experience, I think, for many people. So, but just while I have a minute, I just wanted to share quickly with you. I have some notes here. I'm not very good at extemporaneous speaking, but while I have a minute, I just wanted to briefly share a story that we heard a few days ago. Maybe our third day. I'm not sure. We were up in a town called in Palestine, Nabi Saleh, and we met with the brother of an activist whose name is the person we met with's name is Wad, and he's the brother of an activist named Ahed Tamini, and you may be familiar with her. She's famous. The picture of her is very famous. She doesn't look like what you might think of as a typical Palestinian. She has blonde hair, blue eyes. She's descended from crusaders who stayed in the Holy Land. So you may have seen her picture. It's very striking. But we were able to meet with her brother and discuss his story. And parts of all of it was striking, and parts of it just really stood out to me. Also, briefly, I'll just share it with you. So, one of the things you have to understand is that Palestinians, they become adults in the eyes of the law at a very young age. I cannot remember the stat right now to save my life, but it's under 15. It might be 14 or 13, but I'll have to double check myself on that. But it's under 15. So Wad has been to jail many times for demonstrating. The first time was 15 years old. And now, because he's been to jail so many times, he can't finish his studies at university. And during his most recent arrest, the soldiers actually broke his leg and cut off circulation to his wrists for 7 hours because his bindings were so tight. And after being brought to the hospital, the doctors told the soldiers, look, you can't put bindings back on his hands because he's going to lose his hands. But they did anyways. And thank God he actually didn't end up losing his hands, but he still has issues apparently because of it. So he's told us a lot about his city and life in his city. One of the reasons that Nabi Saleh has so many issues is that there's a what the UN has called an illegal settlement on Palestinian land. You may have heard talk about Jewish settlements on Palestinian land. Well, Nabi Saleh, there's one right down the hill from them. A lot of these cities are on hills, we found. Now, at the bottom of this hill is a creek. And this creek, the Palestinians there from Nabi Saleh use all the time to get water. Well, one day, suddenly, the creek became part of the settlement. And as it was a critical part of the Palestinian life, they started demonstrating. And so that's where this whole story about Nabi Saleh started to come to a head. The demonstrations began. Wad, his sister, everyone started being arrested. And the entire town, basically, he says, has a story similar to his. Multiple arrests. Everyone, this has either happened to them or it's happened to somebody they know. And it just looks bleak for them. And at least that was the story that it seemed to us. So when we asked, how do you feel about this? Like, tell us more, like, your feelings. Like, how can you still continue to go on? And he says, if I lose hope, I lose myself. And I mean, that touched us in a big way, because in the face of such adversity, it could be easy to give up. And just seeing that someone who's been to jail 3 times, had his leg broken, almost lost his hands, the whole town is under this incredible threat. If they walk down the hill, they get shot. It's unbelievable adversity just right in your face every single day. But even that, and even though this settlement right in front of their door, he said to us, and this is the part that really got me personally, even though he says we just want to live as human beings, and that's something we've heard over and over again from everyone here. And I'll just end with this. He says that my hope for the settler is for them to become the neighbor. And then I would be happy for them to live here. But as an occupier, that can't happen. And that he would be happy for them to live right next to them. They wouldn't have to leave if they would just be his neighbor instead of his occupier. Now, that stayed with me. I think that will continue to stay with me. So, it's getting dark. I think I said enough for the day. So, hopefully I'll be able to upload this tonight. If not, I guess you'll get a bunch of vlogs when I get back home. Thanks, everyone.